with Exeter, Exeter City Club, I still to this day have a good rapport with people like Alan Banks, Jimmy Giles, Peter Hatch. I used to see Keith Bowker a lot, but I haven't seen him for quite a few years. And forgot his first name. Johnny Hoare. Yeah, good rapport with. But I suppose the best one was when Jimmy Giles, he left Exeter and he was playing for Charlton, and it was in the days when, I hate to say this, but Chelsea supporters were terrible, and I travelled up from Exeter to Charlton, and when I arrived, there was pandemonium outside the pitch, outside the ground, and they'd broken a lot of windows at Charlton, and of course in those days you used to have a police inspector come in and give you the instructions in the event of a bomb and so forth, and he said, "Ref, I hope you're going to get this played." I said, "I haven't come all this way not to." So anyway, we got the game underway, and I can see it today. The old cowshed that they had at Charlton, that's where all the Chelsea supporters, and there were policemen shoulder to shoulder along the goal line, and they were lighting paper and flares and one thing. Anyway, the game, no problem with the game, and then, like all good captains or centre halves say, when it's getting near the end, they say, "How much longer to go?" And of course Jimmy come up, he said, "How much longer to go, Ron?" And me, I said, "Oh, about 10 minutes, 20 minutes. "No," he said. I said, "When I get near that halfway line and just in from the touch line, you'll know I'm about to blow the whistle." And of course we carried on, and sure enough I'd worked my way, and then all of a sudden I blew the whistle and he come charging past me, give me a bit. I said, "Oh, I'll get there before you," because you. But yeah, it was quite a laugh, and he often talks about it now. I'll meet somebody and say, "Oh, I thought Jimmy Giles would be talking about football, and your name come up." I said, "Oh yeah." "Where was Charlton playing Chelsea?" He said, "Yes, that's it." I said, "Yeah."
Brilliant. Give us a bit of a description of your memory of the referee's changing room at St James's Park.
Oh, compared to today, it was a little bit antiquated. One bath, and referee's privilege, jump in first. Yeah, but I'm just trying to think exactly. I suppose, when you come up at the old state. What's
the old grandstand?
The grandstand, but when you come up the steps and you come into the first door, you used to go to the left, or I haven't been up there for quite some time, but you went to the left, and that was sort of the VIP's room, and just turned right, and there was the office was there, and then the referee's changing room was there, and believe it or not, it was smaller than this.
And even then, was it of a poorer standard than most places you went to?
No, I think at the time, one of the poorest places I ever went to was Crewe. I think next to that would be Aldershot, because when you were in your dressing room there, you saw the train, the train would be going past and you'd be, yeah. No, I wouldn't say they were, I would put them my third.
Third worst.
Yeah.
So, just describe the referee's room at that stage. What was in there?
All there was in there was two. There was never 3 chairs. That was always a. There was only 2 chairs, a wash basin, and this long old-fashioned bath. Yeah, the old saying that there wasn't enough room to swing a cat. But
And so, literally, you had to have baths one after another.
oh yeah, yeah. But invariably, you never did. You had a quick wash down and then got away quick.
I know now there's a bell there, which I think
What?
people ring. Was the bell there
Oh
in
yeah,
those days?
nearly all dressing rooms in those days had a bell. 5 minutes before you were due to go out. I mean, now with television, I expect it's a little bit more organised. Yeah.
And of course, when you were refereeing there, you wouldn't have had 4th officials, would you?
No.
Or anything like so. It was
No.
just you and
That's
your
it.
2 assistant referees.
Yeah. If somebody did collapse, they'd come over the tannoy system asking for somebody. Funny, when this 4th official came in, I think it was just after I was assessing in my first season down at Plymouth, and the referee didn't turn up, and the Plymouth people came in and said, or their secretary said, Ron, the referee's not turned up. Will you referee? I said, no, I can't referee. I said, the senior linesman that they've designated, he will. I said, I'll run the line, and I ran the line, and because the league frowned upon it, an assessor had to, not so much to me, but to Plymouth, and from then on it was designated that they should have a 4th official, and but yeah, I've got a lot of firsts in my time. Yeah.
Obviously, you couldn't referee Exeter home or away matches.
No.
But you did referee at St James's Park on many
yes,
occasions. So what kind of games did you referee at St James's Park?
For at least, I suppose 3 or 4 seasons, I refereed all their friendlies. But I refereed the opening match for their lights, the switch on of the lights, and that was Arsenal.
Tell us about that.
Well, that was a nice evening. Yeah. They brought their full team. I'm trying to remember a few of the names. All the big centre half, blonde hair last. Anyway, but they brought a full team.
And was there a big crowd that night?
Yes, yeah. And I remember when they had Cardiff for one of the pre-season games, and Trevor Ford was playing. I always remember having a chat to him. I said, "Well, come on, Trevor, let's have a couple of goals from either foot." And sure enough, he scored a hat-trick, and he scored with left, right and the head. I'd never forget that. It was, but I used to enjoy on my days off. I remember, when the officers was over the other, at the on the old grandstand, that corrugated fence all the way up. I remember painting that up all red. Yeah, used to go up there.
What, as a volunteer?
As a volunteer, yes. Oh yes, go up to clean up and after a game. Yeah, I was young and keen in those days. Yeah.
So how did the painting come about? That's a job that's still done today.
Is it? No, Pat Wakeham was secretary, and I used to go up and have a chat with him, and somebody come in the office and said about we ought to paint it, and he said, oh, we'll have to try and get a few volunteers. I said, oh, I'll come along, and I used to go along afternoon and give it a coat of paint. Do 6 today and 6 tomorrow. Yeah, oh dear. They were good old days, yeah.
One of the stories I like about the end of your football refereeing career was that you almost had 2 last matches.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was refereeing Plymouth and Bradford, and I can't remember who, but one of them, it was they had to win to stay up, and anyway, I had this game, and then no, sorry, it started again. I had Plymouth and Bradford in the February, and it was well, I just had to abandon that game at half time, and I think it's in several of the old record books, photograph of me walking off. Anyway, the game, as I say, I had to abandon, and the Football League decided it was virtually the last game of the season, and they said to me, look, we'll have to take you off that game. And I said, oh, fair enough. And I was refereeing at Watford, which would have been the last game of the season and my last game. And I got a telephone message saying that Plymouth and Bradford will be playing on the Monday night. Are you okay? And I said, yes. And because they said it was okay because they both played a different game, and that result meant that the game Plymouth and Bradford didn't mean anything. You know, whoever, which I think it was Bradford, they were already going down because they lost that game and they were playing Plymouth, and it didn't mean, and you know, the result didn't mean any different to Bradford going down and Plymouth sort of staying up. But yeah, that was.
But you actually got a presentation at Watford, didn't you?
Oh yes,
because they thought it was your last game.
They thought it was my last game. They gave me the match ball, and it was all signed, and they gave me a bottle of champers with Elton John signed it, and it was funny. I was talking to a chap in the who works in the city council. It was his father-in-law who ran the pub at the Tally Ho, and he knew I was a referee, and I was in there with John one day, and he said, oh, Ron, he said, because he ran a football team, and he said, you haven't got anything I could raffle? And I said, yes. I said, I'll give you a football, and I said, a bottle of Plonk. And I gave it to them to raffle for, you know, funds. Yeah.
So I always think it's a wonderful few days. So you have your, what could have been your last game at Watford, and get presented things from Graham Taylor, Elton John. Then you actually have your last league game on the Monday at Plymouth. But the next night, you actually had a first at St James's Park. When you refereed the first ever full international to be played at St James's Park, which was a game.
The ladies.
That's right. So yes. It was England, full international between England and the Republic of Ireland women.
Yes.
Tell us about that night.
Oh, that was very good, to be honest. You know, I was a bit apprehensive when I got a phone call saying, excuse me, was I available? And I said yes. And I thought, women, they can't play football. But I was quite surprised at the standard of these women. And a couple of them came out with a few choice words. And I said, oi, you can pack that in. Oh, sorry, ref. Yeah, it was very, very good.
Because that was obviously quite a historic moment. We haven't had many international games at St James Park, although you also refereed other international matches, which were police internationals.
Yes, oh yeah, that was exciting as well. And of course, I did the last. I don't know if you can remember, but England used to have amateur side.
Yep.
England amateurs, and the last game they played was against Wimbledon down at Plymouth, and I refereed that one. Yeah, the last England amateurs. Yeah.
And football also took you abroad for a few games, didn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
Which games did you do abroad?
I did Fiorentina up there, and I did Setúbal, Victoria Setúbal, Spanish side, Cologne, and I went across. I went across to Italy for 10 days when the what was it? We used to call them the non-league sides. Like Yeovil was a non-league side in those days, and they played Italy in this Italian league, and the Italians came over here, and we were invited to go over and referee in Italy. It was over there for 10 days, which was quite exciting. Yeah.
Now you worked as an assessor for many years. Did you assess at St James's Park?
Oh yes, yeah.
So what would that involve, and where did you sit, and
I used to sit up in the director's box. Yeah, yeah.
In the old grandstand.
In the old grandstand, and I think now the assessor sits up in the director's box. Yeah.
What's your memory of the old director's box in the old grandstand?
Oh, yes. Bit uncomfortable, but no. Yes, when you got sat down and the game got underway, you didn't. You know, your mind was fixed on the referee. Yeah. No, I've had some good moments up at Exeter. Yeah.
What? Give us a few words to describe your feeling about the stadium.
What now?
Then and now.
Well, I mean, obviously it's improved 100%. Sometimes I wonder how they get away with the old grandstand, especially after the fire at Bradford, because that must be one of the only wooden grandstands that's still standing. You know, over 100 years old. There. Yeah.
But is it a ground that you've got fond memories of? Is it one?
Oh yes, I've got fond memories because how can I say? I got treated with great respect. You know, I mean that was due to people like Pat Wakeham, who you get to know, and as I say, I did all their pre-season games. Yeah. Looking back, I think Sheffield Wednesday, they came down, Sheffield United, Cardiff. Yeah. Yeah, good memories.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I've not gone senile just yet.
I think,
to be quite honest with you, I think when you came along and asked me, and I thought, oh no, because I don't normally like, it's different if I'm in having a drink and somebody talks about football, but getting down doing what you've asked me to do was foreign to me. Yeah.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
And it's like now, my boss at the or chief exec at the Civic Centre, when I was made Prime Warden of Mace Sergeants in 2000 and what do we know 2014, I had to organise the conference here in Exeter, and we had our conference here in Exeter, and we had our dinner in the Guild Hall, the council, because I invited the Lord Mayor and the Chief Exec, and I had to get up and give a talk, and I thought, anyway, I started off by saying the first time, like I did, that I stepped foot in Exeter, and then I quickly went through my service and then onto my job and all what I've done. At the end of the evening, I'm stood at the door shaking hands, saying thanks for coming and all that. And because I'd had a few of the sherbets, and the chief exec said to me, he said, "Coy," he said, "I didn't realise you'd done so much in your lifetime." And I said, "Oh yeah, why?" He said, "Would you like to come along and talk to the staff?" And I said, "Yeah, all right, yes I will," thinking he'd forget all about it. But a fortnight later, I get a phone call. "Ron, I've arranged for you to come in to the Civic Centre and talk to the staff." I said, "Oh." So anyway, I talked to the staff. And of course, one of the staff was involved in scouting. So about a couple of months later, I get a phone call. "Ron, would you come and talk at the AGM?" And I've had to, and I think, "Oh, yeah."
What one thing that's reminded me of that we could to ask you about? I mean, obviously, with your role as Mace Sergeant, you've been central to a lot of civic events.
Yes.
Were you involved at all on the various times Exeter City have celebrated their promotions at the Guild Hall?
Yeah, I was there. We gave them a tumbler with the city crest on. Yeah.
Right. Talk a bit about those days and seeing.
Well, yeah. That was quite exciting. I mean, the council only did it once. When they went to Wembley, I think it was, when they got back into the league. Yeah, that was,
and I think the following year they did as well when they got promoted back. Back-to-back promotions.
Yeah, but being wherever I go, I always like to promote the city because although I'm not a Devonian, I wasn't born here. I think everything that's happened to me in my life is whilst I've been here in Exeter. I mean, and especially with the last 23 years being at the Guild Hall, I've been lucky. I've had 3 invites to Buckingham Palace. I've met the Queen on 3 occasions. On one of those, I had the honour of presenting the city sword to the Queen. Being there, I've lunched at the Houses of Parliament with our MP, and through being in the city, I met somebody who invited me to America, and he passed away a couple of years ago. But whilst he was alive, I visited the White House. I had a tour of the White House, tour of Capitol Hill, tour of the Pentagon, and met Mayor Giuliani after the 9/11. And going the other way, Russia, I've been going to Russia now. Well, in fact, when I go in September, it'll be the 32nd time I've been. And I've dined with the British ambassador, or had our afternoon tea with the British ambassador. I've had dinner with the governor of the region, And well, the times I've met the mayor of our twin city here as well, I haven't got enough fingers to count that. Yeah. No,
it's a good thing you accepted that place on that referees course down in Plymouth.
Yes, yeah.
life turned out pretty good.
Yes, I'd say this last job. Well, it's not a job really, but being in the Guildhall, I've met, quite a few of the royals over the years.
One of the things that we're particularly interested in is the fact that you are a collector, if you like, and you've got this fantastic collection of mementos from your career. You've got these wonderful scrapbooks. But for us, as a history project, that's so helpful because you've got real archival. What made you want to be a collector? What have you always wanted?
No, the album started. This big one was when I was in the prison service. My number, what we used, I had a workshop of 120 inmates, and to make my cup of tea, I picked one inmate, and he made my cup of tea, and he was my what we call number one, and when I used to come back from referee, and he'd say, where were you? And I'd say, well, West Ham. What about your gear? And I'd say, oh. And I used to take my gear in on a Monday and he'd clean it. And he used to get a bit of mud off my boots and seal it in because we have one of these plastic machines that you could seal things in. And he used to clean. And in my workshop, I had all these little bags of soil around my office with the names underneath. And of course, when the governor used to come in and he'd bring a visitor in, he comes in and he'd say, and I'd have to start talking, about some of the teams and that. And he, excuse me, he used to cut out pieces out of papers. And he started.
What the prisoner did?
A prisoner did, and he started it off.
Amazing. Yeah. And so you continued.
I continued, but again, I had a good rapport. I mean, like life, like outside now. I mean, you get some people who are awkward, and the same in prison now and again. But again, I had a good rapport, and when the chaps in the workshop, they gave me that. See what?
How lovely. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Treasured memento.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Where it says at the end, tools in, at the end of the day or lunchtime, I'd say tools in, and I'd have a box and they'd come up and I'd search them and they'd go. And this is the sort of thing that we used to assemble. It's called a linchpin.
Yeah, they go. Well, we're delighted that you also kept a lot of things as time going on, because now they're a wonderful storybook of your life in football.
Yeah,
brilliant. And of course, the many other things you did.
And the other one now that I started, that's more or less all my, life outside of football.
Yeah, your civic and working life.
But I did the very first Sunday League final, the Rothmans Cup on. No, that's where he's there somewhere.
The national one?
No, when Exeter started the Sunday League, I think this is it here.
The Exeter and
Yes,
District Sunday League.
The District Sunday League,
Yeah.
1967. That's when
Fantastic.
they.
I used to play in that.
Did you?
Yeah. Division 7 or something.
Yeah.
Of 7 or
Yeah, I think it probably was then.
Yes.
That's brilliant, Ron. Anything else that you'd
but the,
like to ask? Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yes.
Will's got a couple of questions.
Oh, sorry, and because the other thing I did, which they don't do now, is the Devon Professional Bowl.
No, that's still played.
It's still
Yeah,
played.
it's called the St Luke's Bowl now,
Oh.
but it's the same thing.
Yeah, I did 3 of them.
Yeah. One of the few, well, it's about the only cup extra I've ever won.
Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. Thank you for talking to us as well this morning. Sorry for dragging this into your living room and all that kind of thing. But I'm really interested in like what it's like to work at St James's Park. So, from 2 perspectives, you talked earlier about the referee's room. Can you remember the first time you ever walked in it and what you thought of it? Or early impressions?
No, to be quite honest with you, because it was in an era where things were very old, if you know. I mean, when I first refereed in the Exeter District League, one place that always stands out in my mind is Fairney. Now, Fairney was one of the old original members of the Exeter District, and they used to play down in Flower Pot, and there used to be an old barn, I think, and there used to be an old tin bath, and it was a rush, to get in before the players in those days. And that was the same in quite a few of the places. You go up to North Loo, and you'd be lucky if there was any water. And then to do your first game at Exeter, I mean, whatever they had, that was luxury. You went in, you had your own room, because 9 times out of 10, you change with the players. I can always remember going to Hevertree, which I've been long association. I'm the vice president down there, but I often talk to some of the players. My first picture taken of me in referee's gear was taken down there in 1956. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. But and I tell the guys, what you got now is luxury. I said, because there used to be an old barn here. The home team was at that, and it was a barn, but there was a bit of a partition. The first team was that end, the away team, and then the referee. So you can guess who had all the hot water. The first team, where it came out. By the time it got to the referee, it was cold. Yeah.
So Exeter was a bit of a luxury.
It was, yes. Looking back, it was a luxury in those days. Yeah.
And what was you saying about chairs?
They only had 2 chairs. That's all they could get in the room. If there was a third one, you'd have problems. Yeah. They laugh. But again, they were very, very good, very enjoyable. Yeah. I always tell people I've been very, very lucky in my life, whether it be Royal Marines, prison service, and this job, and with my referee thrown in. When people talk down the club about, always, so-and-so got sent off. How many did you send off, Ron? And I said, well, I sent off 5 in my career. Now that takes some believing, but 5, that's all I sent off.
Wanted to keep the game going, keep them on the pitch.
And of course, discipline in those days. If you turned around and said to a bloke, "Oi, next time I'll take a," he never did it again. But today it's a different game altogether.
What was if you can remember, what were the crowds like at St James Park? Did you have a rapport with the crowd? What was the old grandstand like compared to the cowshed?
Well, I mean, the very first time I went, I went to Exeter, and again, I can remember who they were playing. They were playing Chelsea in the FA Cup, and I think, if my memory serves me, there were 21,000 people in there. You know where not St James's End, the other end we go. There used to be a toilet block up there. It was not much bigger than this, and you see them all crammed on the top of there. Yeah, and where the old grandstand is, where it finishes, from that spot up to where you come in at St James's End, that used to be known as the busman and the railway, and that used to be packed with bus drivers and bus collectors and railway. Yeah, it was incredible in those days. And of course, where the new grandstand, that was the old coach shed, and you were stood on sleepers. Oh, yeah. But as I say, that was the very first game, and Exeter drew. And they had a centre forward. Excuse me. They had a centre forward called Archie Smith. He scored both the goals. Yeah. And then they went up to Chelsea and they lost. I think it was 3-2 or 2-1, but they were robbed.
So you were watching that game as a fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the Marines then.
Oh.
Yeah, in those. Yeah.
Were the crowd always nice to you at St James Park because they knew you were from Exeter? So was it easier to ref there?
Yeah, looking back, I've never had any problems with the crowd.